Right, how about we get started and explain how I go through the run. So first of all, this is on patch 1, so you will need to down patch to play this category. Sucks to suck. I don't know what to tell you. It's pretty easy to down patch. There's a guide for it on SRC as well, so. This category is on easy mode. So first thing we're gonna do is start the run in easy mode. Skip the prologue, and then as soon as you see Ori in the background, you press start, or escape, and you quit to menu. And that skips the initial cutscene. You just reload and you can move. Simple as that. So on patch 1, you can use Alt plus U to disable the UI, and this disables dialogue as well. So it's actually very useful to disable the UI. No timer. This is just a comfy run that I explain. So we get these 2 experience points. Spirit Light Orbs. Commentary practice, more or less. Why is it on screen? True. Let's disable it. Where is it? There you go. So right now, I'm just collecting Spirit Light, because the first thing I need to do is to get Hammer. Because in this category, we won't be getting Sword. So right now, I could be going up, but instead I'm choosing to go down, because I want to get Spirit Light first. Specifically this Spirit Light here. Two hits on this wall, get the Spirit Light, and now we leave. We don't get the keystones. No need to do those terrible jumps because we don't need to see Howl yet. This is reverse event order. I guess I should explain what reverse event order means. So, in the pause menu, on the right side, there's icons that appear when you go through major story events. Those can be bosses, wisps, other events, and fighting Howl is one of them, for example. So this category completes them backwards. Starting from Shriek, then the Worm Escape, then there's 3 that can be done in any order, which is Bowers Reach, Moldu Depths, and Quolok's Hollow. Specifically getting the Wisp from Bowers Reach, beating Quolok, and beating Mora. Then there's Losing Ku. Getting Clean Water. Yes, Luma Pools, sorry. Losing Ku. Getting Clean Water. Then talking to Quolok, which gives us the first Wisp. That's an event. It shows the face of Quolok here. And then we beat Howl, which is the first event. So that's going to be reverse event order. Now, first thing to know is Torch allows to hover. You don't lose as much height when you attack with Torch in the air. So this is a normal jump, and this is Torch. So we use that to make this very tight jump. To go back up. Enter here. Use Torch again to get through this. And equip Resilience. Resilience is very important. We will need it for several things. So, just equip it. And then make this other jump. This is much easier than the first one. but they're both pretty simple. And now we meet Ophir. Remember to have the UI disabled for this cutscene. Now, if you want, you can re-enable it here and talk to him. Ideally, what you would do is talk to him with the UI disabled to skip the first dialogue, then re-enable it, and then talk to him, which directly gets you to this dialogue. It's not super necessary, you can just mash through the dialogue, not a big deal, but technically that's what's ideal. Now, here we get Hammer, and while you're getting Hammer, while you're charging this circle to get Hammer, I want you to press your UI bind. Because if you don't, you get a dialogue afterwards that you have to mash through. Instead, you can charge, and during the charge, press the UI bind, and that automatically skips the dialogue, which is very convenient. So, now we do this jump that I really don't like. Oh, got it first try, of course. You just have to jump off the vine and then get a wall jump on here. Pretty simple. Get that spirit light. Again, use torch to hover. So now we're gonna have to go through Quolok's Hollow without double jump. Now, first thing we want to do is die to these spikes because we need full health. And then we do this. Now, let me copy and paste the save so that I can show you this properly. This is the first new trick for most runners here. It's called Bow Swim. Ow. Oh, I messed it up. It can be very difficult at first. I don't usually mess it up, but sometimes it happens. I don't know why I'm messing it up right now. We're trying to activate the tree from underwater. I think I'm too late. I think I'm activating it too late. So if you press the button too late, I think, you get soft-locked, which is what I've been doing. Because Ori is trying to move to the tree, but can't. There you go. So, let me show you how to do this with the debug renderer on, so you can see hitboxes. So first of all, 3 attacks here. Now, from here, you want to jump into the water on this line, so close to the wall. Then you want to wait for the second tick of damage, and then start holding down and left. Then you wait for the first tick of damage, then you wait another half second. So 1 tick of damage and a half, more or less. And then you start holding left. And then when you're before the tree, right before the tree, you want to click or, interact so that you can activate the tree like this. 2, 1. And I mess it up, but yeah. You want to click around here. This is what you want to do. Because if you're too far, you can't go back, and that's why you soft lock. I used to have this problem all the time. Now I rarely mess it up in runs. One, two, one. Soft locked again. It's very easy to mess up. There you go. This is where you want to click. Right here. So on the slope, at the top of the slope here, is where you want to click. So naturally you can't see anything here, but it's good to practice the timing. And then you hold upright for the two ticks and then a bit right, and you get up. Equip hammer and spirit arc. And we continue. Now, here's a piece of tech. If you do a neutral swing, as you go down onto a bounce pad, you bounce much higher. This is a neutral bounce. This is a bounce with a jump button. And this is a bounce with, if I can do it, hold on, the hammer. It's easier to do from the ground. Hold on. There you go. So you can see how far higher you go. I use this all the time. Now here, I would recommend reactivating the UI, because if you deactivate the UI, you don't get lock-on, which makes hitting this target specifically very difficult. And then you can deactivate it before hitting the stone again. Skip the cutscene. Put the eyes in. You don't need to do this quit out, but it saves a significant amount of time, I think. I don't remember how many seconds, but I try not to do too many quit outs, but there's a few that just save time. There's no reason not to do them. Here we get on top of the crusher. Get the health cell. Ow. Now this is a trick that is probably familiar to most runners. And I'm really bad at it. Oh, too far. There you go. It's bow drop. The concept is very simple. You fire an arrow. So you start holding your arrow. You hold F. Well, you hold your ability wheel button. It's F for me, but whatever. Then you want to release it for 1 frame and then hold it again. Like that. And then when you release it, the arrow will be under you and will go through the floor and hit the stone door, in this case. Oh wow, it closes again. I didn't know that. Interesting. I guess I get to do it again. Fascinating. Today I learned. What a video game. One frame after fire? Okay. Anyway, so get this teleporter. You'll get the cutscene because this is the first teleporter we see in this category. It's not supposed to happen here, but we get it anyway. Kinda good sometimes. Sometimes. So I like to step on it. I know you don't have to activate it, but I prefer stepping on it. But you do you. As long as you activate it. If you don't activate it, the run is over. So make sure you do. Okay? Alright. So here, you can just do one jump. I know it doesn't look like you can, but you can. And then here we're doing the swim. We're swimming down through the poisoned water. This is easy mode, so we don't take a lot of damage. We even have resilience equipped, so it's really simple. You just jump down, don't need to hit the spikes. You wait for 2 ticks of damage, and as soon as you get the second tick, you hold down. And that's going to give you the save. I recommend having the UI on so that you can see the autosave going off. But if you're that confident, you don't need to. Anyway, so jump down, hold, second tick you go down, and you get the save. So now I'm going to respawn here. Now, from here, I'm going to hold left until I hear the first tick of damage, and then down right. And that will put me a little too far right, but that's how I do it. And then I do a hammer swing to get far left enough. If you hit any spikes after the swim, you die, so make sure you don't. So, like this. Wrist. And we fall down. Ow. Now we just go down. You can use your hammer as a substitute for double jump. Here, this is not going to deal damage to you as it spawns. Now from here, I'm going to jump, up hammer, left hammer. And that gives me enough height. Because normally I can't reach. You can quit out here to save time. You don't have to, but you can. The advantage is that if you quit out, this thing despawns. Which makes it much easier to get through there. So here, I'm going to jump and then swing when I get close to this crystal. This will make me auto-aim to it with a hammer, and it gives me extra distance. Like this. Now here's another patch 1 tech. If you interact with certain items, certain objects in the game while swinging your hammer, you will skip the animation, as in you will gain control immediately. So instead of interacting immediately, this works in the air as well. You can just swing and interact, like that. And that allows you to move normally. Now watch out for these crushers, because they are very annoying. Get this experience. And now we go back. This area is notorious for eating my inputs. I don't know if it's just my computer, but I die to these crushers a lot. Very annoying. Okay, so from here, I'm going to make this crusher fall, then jump on it as high as I can, jump again, and then do a hammer swing when I'm about here, which will bring me here in order to wall jump off and go here. It's a very difficult trick. That was almost it. There you go. Moving on. So now we have what's called dash to sword, even though we're not getting to sword. Yeah, it's a little easier with double jump, but anyway. So generally, I prefer to jump down here, which gives me an autosave, as you can see. Because if you just come from here, you get this autosave, which puts you here. And if you mess up this trick, which you probably will, you have to come back from here, and there's an enemy here, and it's annoying. Instead, if you kill the enemy, jump down here, and then do the trick. If you mess it up, you respawn here, and the enemy is gone. So, highly recommended. For this trick, I would recommend having your UI on, just so you can check how much health you have. So, for this trick, first thing we're going to do is jump here. I just do a dash, jump, dash, but you don't have to. You can use hammer and do this. If this keto doesn't get in my way. So don't worry about making the tight jump. You can just dash, jump, dash, and then up hammer, left hammer. Anyway, same thing here. I do a dash, jump, dash, but you don't have to. You can add an up hammer. From here, you want to stand on the edge here. You don't have to take damage. I'm just bad at the game. Then you want to be more or less at this distance. So very close to the spikes, but not extremely close. And then you want to do a neutral jump, or neutral dash, sorry. Right now I am facing left. I want to do a neutral dash, and then I want to avoid this hitbox. So I will take 1 damage here, fall down, take 1 more damage here, and fall more. And then from here, dash left. Okay, that was not the right position. Closer. There you go. Just like that. So being careful of these 2 hitboxes. They're not bad, just annoying. So if you end up here to the left, it can be very annoying. You just fall down here, do a full jump. Simple as that. So now, you see this hitbox here. You can't go through it. But when you come here, it deloads. It's not loaded anymore, which means you can go through it. But if you spend too much time in the air, close to it, it loads again. So what we're doing is a dash to this platform. Let me show you it again. A dash while holding left. Should be enough. So from touching this platform here, I just hold dash and left, and that puts me here. Then from here, being careful not to go over this loading zone, because this is a loading zone. If you go beyond it, it will void you out and put you back at your save point, which is why I made you choose the better save point. Being careful not to go through that loading zone, I want you to do a jump. You just jump left and then you hold right, like that. If you're unlucky, you can come here for like a few frames and that's enough to void you out. That's unlucky. It sucks. Happens to me all the time. Anyway, now we're stuck in here. Okay? That's good. Because now, let me show you how this works. So, the objective now, as you can see, we have a void out zone all here and all here. This whole rectangle plus this area, that's all void out. You don't want to be there. You want to be there as little as possible. So our objective is to go left from here. So the first thing to do is to go through this wall. Now how does that work? The way I do it is from standing here, I do a full jump while running up the wall. So touching the wall, jump, run up the wall, and then a short jump and a dash left while holding left. That puts me on the wall here. And then with a very specific timing that is difficult to explain, I do one wall jump and then wait a tiny bit, just a tiny bit, not even remotely close to half a second, like a tiny minuscule amount of time. So I do a wall jump, wait, and then another wall jump, and that usually lets me wall jump as this wall unloads so that I can get over it. And once I'm over it, I do an upswing with a hammer and a left swing with a hammer. And then I hold a right, and that generally lets me fall down onto the wall that has loaded again. So to repeat, run up the wall, jump, dash, jump, wait a tiny bit, jump again over the wall, upswing, left swing, a right swing would work as well. And then you fold down onto the wall. And then from there, we're going to do a dash, jump, dash, an upswing, a left swing, and then we can add pause floats. It's not necessary, but it's safer. So, your pick. Okay? Let's see what this looks like. Let me save here. Jump, jump. Yeah. Oh wait, it's 2 jumps. So 2 wall jumps and then a third wall jump after waiting. Like that. Upswing, left swing, and then we fall here. And now the objective is just to get over here. Come here, swing to break the wall, go back, and then come here, and clip out. Just like that. And then you get the health cell. But I'm obviously going to do it again. Let me save here. Up over here, and then didn't need to do that dash. So here, if you have enough HP, you can just hold down and left and mash alternately dash and hammer. And that will get you through eventually, but that can also damage you. So instead, I prefer to just hold down and left and swing. Do the first swing of my combo until it works. And eventually it does. Eventually it does. Any moment now. There you go. Let's do it again. Unload the hitbox. Dash while holding left. There, I messed it up. Dash while holding left. Land on this little piece of hitbox. Jump left and then hold right to get into this section. Then run, jump, dash, wall jump, wait a little bit, wall jump, upswing, left swing. Ah, ate my input. Up here and then up here. And now let's do it without the debug render. This is how I would do it in runs. How? Ah. See, it's very easy to mess up. I don't usually get it first try. I was unlucky. Sometimes you're just unlucky. And there's nothing you can do about it. This can be a little annoying to find your footing for. It's gonna be very annoying to find your footing for, apparently. Thank you. And sure, there you go. Do it again. Unlucky. There are times where you have to be in the void for a very brief amount of time, and in that time you can just void out. So it's not always execution. And then you get your health cell. Getting sword is not an event. Beating Howl is an event. The problem is if you get sword, Howl disappears. That's why I can't get sword. So this category will never get sword. That hitbox is a little annoying, but anyway. You break through that wall, fall down, and now we're going to double jump. This is the whole reason we came here. We're not fighting Howl yet. Not for a long time. Again, you can skip with the hammer swing and do blind movement. Now this is why we need the teleporter here in the Inkwater Marsh, or not in the Quolox Hollow. Because now we need to teleport back. Because we have no way out. I camp. I will. Now we simply get bash. One thing to know is you need to avoid the Hornbug boss fight. Now the Hornbug boss fight starts from around here. So you never want to cross that line. So let me explain to you what hammer jumps are. Now that we have double jump, we can use hammer to increase the height we get from a double jump. This is done by being in the air and pressing in very quick succession hammer, jump, hammer. Hammer, jump, hammer. Just like that. The quicker you do it, the more height you get. So from here, I take the added height from this slope, and I just do dash and then hammer jump. And then again, hammer jump, get this spirit light. And then I use hammer jumps to get this spirit light as well. We're going to use hammer jumps a lot for the rest of the run, so make sure you understand how they work. Again, you can quit to menu here to save time. Not super important, but quit out generally takes about 2 seconds of in-game time if you do it with my terrible menuing. Probably faster if a normal person does it. Now we go back. We're not going to talk to Kolok because that's an event. We're going to do that much later. So for now, we need to reach the Wellspring Glades. But in order to reach the Wellspring Glades normally, we would have to talk to Kolok. Because he orders the Moki to unlock the door. Let me copy paste the save so that I can show you this trick. So, I recommend having the UI on so you can see the autosave when you get it. Now, we're going to jump over here, and then we're going to aim for this thing while we're under this door. Just like that. Let me show it to you again. I think I need to die, actually. This only works once per life, let's say. So if you mess it up, if you don't get pushed out of bounds by this, you have to die and try again. You can't just go back and try again. So you fire your arrow and you crouch immediately. That maximizes the chances to go out of bounds. And then you dash left and you do a hammer jump. This can take some practice. But essentially, you get crushed down, you dash left, and then you do a hammer jump up. And that allows you to get up here. Then you jump on this, and then on this. Now, when you get here, when you get on top of this little... Let me disable padding and... Okay. When you get on top of this little mound-like hitbox, this little triangle here, when you get to the top, the scene above will load. And the camera will move to it. So I want you to get here and watch what happens. See how it zooms in? You can do it as many times as you want. It zooms in, then another hitbox appears here, and this one disappears after a while. So what you're trying to do is this. Wait, and then jump on this. That's what you're trying to do. Let me show it to you again. Wait, and jump on this. It takes a bunch of practice to get it right, but once you get it, it's pretty simple. It's not a very difficult trick. Now from here, this red hitbox, which is a hurt box, is active, while the one below is not right now. So you don't have to worry about this red hitbox. Our objective right now is to get to the right. So what we're going to do is, without jumping and without immediately dashing, we are going to walk off, lose a little bit of height, and then dash to the right. Like this. That's what we're trying to do. So let me show it to you again. Hi Crab, hi Kemp. Let me show it to you again. You get here, wait, jump on top, lose height, dash, and we're here. You'll be able to see Ori walk here. So now from here, you can jump to get on top of this structure. And then if you jump again, it will load this brick again. The objective is to get on top of the brick. And then do a hammer jump. But don't stress about it too much. Oh, I made a mistake. Okay, good. You don't want to end up in here, but if you do, hold crouch and right, and then spam dash and hammer. But anyway. So you want to... You see you want to disable this hitbox. And then you can do this and jump over. However you do it, as long as you get it. And then you want to jump here to this save point. The easiest way to do it is to double jump and then dash to the right. Like that. Once you get the save point, you just reload and you're in the Wellspring Glades. Simple as that. It looks very complicated and it may be very complicated at first, but it's not a very difficult trick. You will get it eventually, and it will become very simple. Let me do it once all the way through. See, I messed up, so now I'm going to die, because otherwise it doesn't work anymore. And there you go. That's how you get to Wellspring Glades. So now, first thing we do is we talk to Twillin, buy energy and overcharge. Then we go up here. This can be a little difficult without double jump, but it's pretty self-explanatory. Get the Gorlek ore, hammer jump up here. Oops. Get the spirit light, health cell. Now, we want to talk to Grom. Now, the ideal way to do this, you don't have to do this again, you can just mash through dialogue, but if you want, you can interact and then press UI after he's starting talking. After he starts talking, you press the UI, you activate the UI, and you view your projects, and then again, while you're charging, you disable your UI, and that skips the dialogue. And then you keep the UI off, because he's going to have another dialogue, which is even more annoying, which asks you if you want to do anything else. So keep the UI off, and then you turn it on again after he's done. So make sure you step on this. I've had instances where it didn't activate. And now you talk to Ofer and get sentry, because we're going to be doing some sentry jumping. Again, same principle with disabling the UI, not super necessary. Anyway, equip your sentry. So from here, we're going to perform a trick called God Mode or Invulnerability. which is very self-explanatory. It makes you invulnerable. And it makes you invulnerable as long as you don't dash, or you don't bash, or you don't quit to menu. Hi Binge, hi Upso. So now we get the keystones to open the door to Howl. But again, we're not gonna fight Howl quite yet. I owe you a soda? Why do I owe you a soda? I mean, I'll get you a soda. Gladly. Talk to talk. And walk to walk. Hello, Howl. Okay, so now, don't go to Howl yet. Instead, take this slime and bash it near the water. Be careful because the ceiling is very annoying and it can push the slime to the water. Slowly inch your way to the water without doing this, which happens a lot more frequently than you might think. Slimes are silly. You want the slime to have its head and its tail both off the platform. Can be very difficult to do. Really depends on whether the slime wants to cooperate. See, the head of the slime is bending down. You don't want that. You can do this. You can't do it with the slime like this, but it's tight. So I wouldn't recommend it. Instead, I would just recommend trying again and hoping that the slime gets in the right position. Doesn't usually take me this long, but it's harder to do when trying to explain. What is Rio? Rio is reverse event order. I'm playing the game backwards. I'm going to unlock all the story events backwards. So if you fail with both slimes, you can just quit the menu, reload, and that respawns them both. Infinite slimes. There we go. I like that. So now you can see the slime's head is not bending onto the platform. So that's what I want to see. So now the objective is to bash the slime while drowning. So while we are drowning, not dying to water, but drowning, we want to bash the slime. And that gives us invulnerability. So wait for the air to run out. And bash. Perfect. So now I'm invulnerable. As long as I don't bash something, I'm completely invulnerable. So don't bash and don't quit to menu. So now you come here, get reckless, remove resilience because for now we won't need it. We're invulnerable. And equip these 3. Reckless, Overcharge, and Energy. And then from here, teleport to Quolok's Hollow. We have teleport anywhere because on patch 1, doing the first upgrade with Grom gives us teleport anywhere instead of getting it from Ophir. So once again, skip the Hornbug. The Hornbug reaches around here, so make sure you don't touch anywhere here. Now, if we go the normal way, we will get to Quolok. But we don't want to go to Quolok because talking to Quolok is an event. So instead, we need to perform a trick called Voice Skip, which skips the event of getting the Voice of the Forest. And this trick is here. So, for this trick, the idea is to hammer jump and get into this little socket. This little socket here. Run as far right as you can, then hold crouch and do 2 backflips. And then, while holding crouch, you press dash and immediately after, hammer. It's extremely inconsistent, so you just have to try it until it works. This trick is a sub-pixel, so there you go. Eventually, you make it through. Then from here, you do a sentry jump. You will end up in water. Hold up left until this unloads. You will notice the camera shift. And then you go right. And then up. And from here, you go right. And you do a sentry jump. Let's do it again. You do a sentry jump while holding left. And that activates the cutscene. So you just watch the cutscene here. You don't have to do this, but it's an easy way to get through. So you do a sentry jump. And again, you want to hit this save point. So I recommend having the UI on. Hit the save point. And then now we're trying to go back to where we were. So from here, we go back here, then down into the water, down a little bit, and then right. And there you go. We respawn here. Now, you should get this Spirit Light. If you want, you can do the swim, because you're invulnerable, you don't need to do anything in particular. You can just go through. But there's this trick, which is technically faster, and I'm really bad at it. There you go. You walk over the walls. Again, you get your save point, which is here at the end of this. Make sure you walk until the end. Then you walk back here. You do a hammer jump, and that respawns you. What do the people who create these games think about this? You should ask Tiger. But in short, they love speedruns. So now we're invulnerable, which means you can just walk at the bottom of this without repercussion. Get this energy crystal. So, this is probably my least favorite trick in the run. It's called Coup Skip. And this involves performing a bow sentry dash, which is a lot of words. So pay attention. So Sentry has the unique ability of maintaining Ori's speed and removing deceleration. But when you use Sentry, you perform this animation, this jump, which prevents you from doing other things. The bow animation overrides the Sentry animation. So if you're firing an arrow and you press Sentry immediately after firing, there you go. You don't do the jump. This jump here doesn't happen. And then, once we have this set up, we want to dash exactly as the butterfly from Sentry is appearing. And we want to do this from close to the wall, but not on the wall. So tap pretty heavily on the right, then crouch, left, and that's your setup. Tap, crouch, left. Tap, crouch, left. Tap, crouch, left. It's a heavy tap. And then you keep retrying until it happens. It's a very, very difficult trick. And I'm really not good at it. There you go. And that allows you to jump over the cutscene of finding Coup. So you don't have to use Coup. This is a very optional movement. You don't have to do it, but you can. You get that spirit light. Otherwise, you can just do this. Or you can do this, which is very annoying. That also works, but very inconsistent. Don't recommend it. You can just do this. Now, important thing. Very important thing. Do not get this keystone. It's a waste of time, okay? Because it starts a cutscene when you get here. So when you get here, come up here, get this keystone. You can also get the one above if you prefer. Not a huge deal. Then get this one. And then do this clip. The positioning is, again, I'm really bad at this, but the positioning involves Ori's head slightly bobbing past this piece of wood. So when you see this charred log in the background, You want Ori's head to gently bob past it when it's crouching. So, do that. And then you perform the glitch, which is very inconsistent for me, but there you go. So now that you're here, you just dash right, come here, jump over this little hurdle, and then touch this. I just tried to touch this corner here to get the save. So just touch the corner here, and then go to the right, and go right until you unload. You void out, and that's it. So now you skip this keystone door, and you have 2 extra keystones. Break this, wait under it because you're invulnerable. Here I do 2 sentry jumps, break, and a hammer jump. But that's all, you know, how I do the movement. It's not really that important. You can get this experience. I don't think it's necessary, but I get it. Very important, make sure you get this teleporter. I save on it just to have the energy for this next trick, but you don't have to. As long as you get around here, and then you come back, you will have the teleporter. It's very important that you get it. We will need it later. And now, we do the second coup skip, which involves standing about here, more or less, and then do a full sentry jump. And you will start to understand when it works and when it doesn't. If you hit this cutscene, you have to reload, because the run is over otherwise. Because hitting this cutscene is an event. So you want to skip it. So you just have to know when it works and jump over it with a sentry jump. Now here, land here, and you don't want to ever land on this ground. Very important. So you do, what I do is dash, dash, fall a little bit, then a hammer jump, and then I mash sentry until I get 2 sentries off while holding right. So dash, dash, hammer jump, sentry, sentry. Dash, dash, hammer jump. Sentry, sentry, after getting through the wall. So double sentry, and you land. What's important is that you land after this bundle of bones. Then you can just jump over here. Don't worry about Shriek, she's not active, so she's not going to do anything to you. And there we go. We're in the Windswept Wastes. Disable the UI to skip the dialogue. I won't go over every single pickup I get, because that's a lot of pickups. You can just look at it. This wall is very easy to break from the other side, so just break it. And now, we get to this other wall, which is not easy to break up from the other side. So instead, what we're going to do, since this almost never works, in my PB it worked, actually, but it almost never works. What I do is a trick called JSD, Janky Slow Down. By holding down one of the arrow keys and one of the mouse keys, I get to slow down the game. Because the game is trying to... I'm basically pressing what seems like a controller button and a keyboard button at the same time. And so the game is trying to change input method every single frame. And that slows down the game. That makes it lag. So I'm artificially making the game lag. KB only versus KBM. Thank you. That's better. I'm making the game lag so that my hammer's hitbox has a higher chance of hitting the wall in the right place to break it. And then I'm jumping to the middle of it and swinging my hammer. Oh, well, that sucks. Let me reload. That's like 1 in 1,000. It's almost impossible for that to happen, but I guess it happened. You don't have to kill these things. I'm just doing it for the sake of the tutorial. So I'm going to hold right on my keyboard, the right arrow, specifically, not D, but the right arrow. I'm going to unbind Sentry from the left mouse button. And then I'm going to, while holding right on my arrow keys, I jump, and then I hold the left mouse button, and then well, the left mouse button would be the ability 2, I think. Yeah, should be ability 2. Maybe ability 1. So I press ability 1, I think. And that slows down the game. And then I press ability 2. And that slows down the game. I know it was a confusing explanation, but it's hard to explain. So if you have any questions, you can just hit me up on Discord, and I'll help you understand. Also, there's resources for JSD already. You can completely ignore spikes. Again, hammer and then swing, or hammer, swing, and then interact. Get this teleporter. Make sure you unlock it. Very important. While you wait for the door, you can get this. Make sure you don't quit out here. It's very important that you don't quit out and you don't bash anything. Otherwise you will lose your invulnerability. Get the teleporter, and go back to the feeding grounds. Because now we're going to go get lunch. Alright, I unequipped. I like to do a sentry jump here. You can use the hammer swing on this lever as well, but it's not that big of a deal. Doesn't actually save time. With Reckless and Overcharge, it takes 3 hits from the hammer to kill one of these guys. Plus 1 if they have a shield. Don't worry about not getting hit, of course. The only thing you have to worry, I'll point out in a second, is on this last guy, you don't want to be on the ground. So make sure you're not on the ground. Even if you have to lose a little bit of time, don't be on the ground. Because if you're on the ground, you can be warped down to the bottom of the elevator. It's a very annoying glitch. I don't know why it happens, but it happens. Once again, hammer swing. If you're on keyboard, you wait here. If you're on controller, you can do blind movement, but you're probably not on controller. Let's be honest. Okay, so now that we have launch, let me explain another tech. I recommend having a bind that presses launch and hammer at the same time, because it allows you to extend your launches. This is a normal launch, goes up to the laser, more or less, and this is a hammer launch. And you can extend a hammer launch by turning around and doing a hammer swing on the other direction. That's a lot more height. Now you enter this door, and you don't quit out. So technically you could quit out, and on reload you would have skipped this cutscene. But you don't want to do that, because otherwise you lose your invulnerability. So we have to watch this cutscene. Okay? Let's watch the cutscene, enjoy the lore. Enjoy the explanation of how this area works. And here we go. Again, easy to break from the other side. Now from here, we mash. Okay, I haven't explained this clip here. So, this type of clip. So let me show you the hitboxes. So now we're trying to clip. You see how there's a sort of triangular hitbox here? We're trying to fit through it. So what we're doing is let me save here. We are holding down and right, and we're mashing alternately dash and hammer. You'll get used to it eventually. Then we do a launch up here, another launch, another hammer launch, and we get up here. Okay? Once again, from here, hammer launch, launch, hammer launch, and up here. From here, we run left as far as we can, then we put our cursor around here in this general area, and then you want to tap launch, and immediately after tapping launch, you hold crouch. Just like that. Makes this trick very, very easy. As soon as you see Ori move to the left a bit, you stop. You put your cursor not in the corner, but close. So around here, and you launch. And then from here, you do jump, double jump, dash left, and as soon as the screen turns black, you start mashing launch with your cursor in this corner. So jump, double jump, dash, launch, dash back, and there you go. Now you have the teleporter activated. So now you can go to Shriek whenever you want. Okay? Good. Next up, if I remember correctly, should be Luma. Yes. So now, while keeping our invulnerability, we just leave because we're not fighting Shriek yet. We aren't done setting everything up. We go to Luma pools. We're going to go through Luma pools not only with launch, but with poisoned water. So for this swim, let me save here. I don't remember if there's another save further in. So for this swim, this is going to be a blind swim. You want to go down left, then up left, up, and then up right until you see something in this corner. You see this in this corner? Once you see this, you go up left. And then when you see these at the top, you go right and up right. Then you fight the current and you come here. Launch up and you're here. Let's do it again. Let's do it without debug render. So down, down left, up left, up right, until I see this in the corner, then up left until I see this, and then right, up right, and there you go. Once again. Down left, up, up. Now while holding upright, you want to also let go of up alternatively, just to make sure. To go a little further right, and then up left, up, right. You'll get used to it. Just practice it a bunch. Nice audio glitch. Alright, so Luma pools. Don't quit out, once again. I'm going to remind you every time, because at first it will be hard to remember not to quit out and not to bash things. But you will need to not bash anything and not quit out. So do the puzzle here. What's up, Grayson? We're doing a tutorial of this game. Come here. What's up, Ryan? So for here, you want to swim under this platform. Do not get over it. If you get over it, you get stuck in a fight room. So just go through it. Here, you can jump, double jump, and then hammer launch and extend it. Extended hammer launch, I guess I should call it. Get these keystones. There we go. And now we have to go through Mold with Depths. So we're unlocking the teleporter just so that we can do Quolock later. Skip the Hornbug. Don't bash anything. Same clip as before, except this time we're going to go down instead of up. So yes, you have to do this terrible trick twice. There we go. Now, let's enable the debug renderer. So don't go past this line. 2 backflips and then clip, yes. The timing is different though. It's not the same timing as regular dash clips. I don't know what it is, but yeah. So don't get past this line. Go left. Crouch, hold left, swing, and that puts you through. Then from here, you want to put your cursor under this spike. You see this spike here? You put your cursor here, under it. And then you do the same thing you did earlier in the Willow's End, but backwards. Instead of tapping launch and then holding crouch, you tap crouch and then you tap launch. And you do it a few times until it works. Gets you through here. Then you hold down and left, let go of left, tap, or no, hold down and right, let go of right, tap left to turn around, and then again you do JSD. So I like to unbind Sentry here. So again, you do JSD, which means you hold crouch on your arrow keys and you hold ability 1, I believe. It's either ability 1 or ability 2. It should be ability 1. You hold ability 1 with the down arrow, and that slows down time, makes the game lag. And then you do your normal inputs for a dash hammer clip. So dash, and then one empty frame, and then hammer. Then from here, from the bottom, you want to be very careful because this hitbox is a one-way, which means you can jump back up and you'd be stuck again. So make sure you don't jump over it. So instead, from here, instead of jumping, which is scary, risky, you run to the middle of this and then you swing your hammer, and that puts you over it, just like that. Right? Then from here, you go right as far as you can. You hold crouch and right. Very important, crouch and right. And you swing. Again, right as far as you can. Crouch and right, swing. And then from here you can jump until you get into this corner here. Now, let me disable the legend because you need to see something. So, you see this disabled hitbox here. This curve hitbox here that is disabled. When I jump and spend too much time in the air, it re-enables. Okay? So our objective right now is to get here to this point with this hitbox disabled. So how do you know it's disabled when you don't have the debug renderer? Good question. You know because you get into this corner and something appears in this corner here. So I want you to watch this corner as I get into the little hitbox. This has lightened up. This has become blue. That means it has disabled the hitbox. Now from there, you tap left just to look left, and then without holding any buttons, you do one swing, two swings. That's it. Just two swings. Then from here, you walk a little left. It's not super precise, you don't have to be in any specific position. And then you hold left until you land on this piece. Just like so. As you can see, the hitbox is still not active. Then you tap repeatedly on the left to fall off, so that you don't spend too much time in the air when you fall off. And then you go left, right here. Left until you can see the light from Ori peeking from underneath this layer here. So from here, can't see the light. Let me show you. Can't see the light. You go left until you can see Ori's light peeking, like so. Right? Yes, I will save this VOD. I will highlight it. Now from here, we're trying to get under this hitbox while it activates and crouch. Okay, so from here, I want you to hold right, or not hold right, sorry. Tap right, just to look right. And then without holding anything, you want to tap jump, and then immediately, very, very, very quickly, dash and hold crouch. Like this. It won't work every time. It worked there, as you can see. So you'll know it worked because something appears here. I'll show you afterwards when you do this, when we do this without debug. But essentially now I'm under this hitbox. All I need to do, be careful that this is a void out zone. What I need to do is hold crouch, hold right, dash, that puts me through, and then hold left. Hold left. And I'm down in Moldwood. Get the save point. And that's it. Let's do it again. This time, actually I'm gonna do it with debug renderer once more. Sounds easy enough, I know. Also, Zem, thank you for the 3 years. Sorry, I was trying to focus on explaining the trick because I'm making a tutorial, but hi, I love you. 3 freaking years. Okay, so get here, hold crouch and left, swing, go left. Then put your cursor under this spike and tap crouch and immediately tap launch. Then unbind sentry. Do JSD. And flip. There you go. From here, run to the middle and then swing. Crouch and right swing, go right, crouch and right swing, jump up for the corner, wait for the blue thing to appear, swing, swing. You don't want to jump, so just swing. Walk until you land. Tap. Well, I didn't tap there, that was risky, but you want to tap until you fall off, and then you tap until you can see Ori, and then jump, dash and crouch repeatedly. This could take a little while. The loading is a little finicky, but you'll get it eventually. Yep. And now we do it without debug render. The least consistent part is honestly this. This is the only thing that I'm really worried about usually about this clip. So again, cursor under the spike. You'll see Ori change position, so pay attention. Then JSD. Crouch right, swing, crouch right, swing, jump, wait for the blue thing to appear, tap left, swing, swing, left, left into a land. I can hear the sound of Ori's feet hitting the ground. That means I landed. That's correct. Tap left until I hear the landing again. Go left until I can see Ori. And do the trick. Now, in this section, I'm trying to jump, dash, and crouch. This is the last part. I will know it worked when another plant appears here to the left. So I'm gonna keep doing it until I see a plant appear. And that means the hitbox has activated. And the music changes? Yes, the music is not super consistent, so I wouldn't rely on it too much. But yes, technically yes. The plant is a 100% giveaway. And you don't have to wait as long for the music to change. Take your time with it. Make sure you don't perform the wrong inputs because you might get stuck back in another point of the clip. So take your time. Make sure you have your inputs correct. Keep doing it until it works. Okay, so I messed it up. And I'm back here. And this is activated. So now I just need to jump back in and redo this section. Okay? Simple as that. So swing, swing, Walk. Walk until you land. Tap until you land. Ah. Messed it up again. Where am I? Oh, ha. That's lucky. That normally doesn't happen. Well, let's do it again. And yeah, this is a lot better than the old version, for sure. There you go. The plant appeared, which meant it worked. And now we just walk here. You can watch the cutscene before or after reloading, doesn't matter, but here, once you get this save point, this is where you quit the menu and lose invulnerability. That's the end of Invuln, finally. We can now bash things again. So, rejoice. Remember to bind your bow, sorry, where you had sentry. There you go. And there you go. So now we're done with setup. Now we're actually going to start the events. So as you can see, I don't have any events, any story events in my pause menu. And now we're going to start from Shriek. So, for Shriek, we're going to perform a trick called Map Kill. Map Kill. We're going to use the map to kill Shriek. So, on this patch, you can just walk past this wall. They fixed that in later patches, but in this patch you can just walk through. So get hit, launch, fall here, and then from here you dash, launch, hold right, and then let go of right, and that makes you fall down to this platform. Okay? So now what you need to do is wait for Shriek to be in the air. I wait for a very specific attack, because I don't know this trick very well. Once Shriek is in the air, so not now, There you go. You die, open the map, scroll out, and close the map. And that instantly kills Shriek. And respawns you with the event. Simple as that. Then from here, we teleport here. Because now we're going to do the worm escape. If you remember the wall we broke earlier that required JSD, that wall takes us to the worm escape. So I'm going to skip through this with debug. So now we can't do worm escape. Because if we try to do worm escape, we are greeted with this wall. So we can't do that. So instead, we're just going to die to the worm, immediately open the map, and teleport here. Now here, one thing, try not to bash anything, just because there's a glitch that can happen. So use hammer launches, hammer jumps. Okay, so now we're going to hit this point, and that will end the worm escape. There's a trick to skip having to wait afterwards and having to watch the cutscene. And you do that by coming here, turning around, jump, jump, slam. And then hold down and right. By doing that, you end up here. If you don't, just wait the 40 seconds. Otherwise, you can teleport instantly. But if you fail this, it's not a big deal. You lose 40 seconds, which is a big deal, but it's not a big deal. You get what I mean. So from here, now we have the worm escape event, which is the second to last. What's up, Dag? You are in the middle, I would say, or 2/3. Hi, Shiv. Yes, so we have the worm escape. Now the next event is going to be, there's 3 events. There's Mora, the spider boss, there's Quolok, the frog boss, and there's Bowers Reach, which is the snow escape, snow mountain escape. First of all, we're going to go get Spear. Do not get Spear any earlier than this. If you get Spear, your save cannot do invuln anymore. So be careful. Anyway, come here. Get triple jump. And unequip overcharge and unequip reckless. Equip resilience and equip triple jump. Very important. Come here. That was sketchy. I forgot to get the energy cell, but it's not a big deal. You can come down through here, get the energy cell. Or you can do that. Enter here, watch the cutscene. That I'm gonna skip through because I can't be bothered. Alright, cool. Now, if you want to be safe, get this save point here. Otherwise, you can just go up. Get this. You can quit out here if you want. Not super necessary. Same thing here, you can quit out, not necessary. It saves like, what, 2 seconds? Come on. Okay, so for this... you want to... okay, let's go back to my cave here. So, this is a trick that I call noodle clip, because you use this noodle to clip. You want to bait the noodle here. This is where you want to bait the noodle. You bait the noodle here, and then you bash it while holding your controller up. There you go. And that puts you through. Let's do it again. There you go. Now from here, you double jump up to load this, then you hold left and you double jump up again very quickly. And you hold up and left, and then you launch, upswing, left swing. Very important. You land here, you do a hammer launch, and then a hammer jump here. So let's show it to you again. Let me show it to you again. Double jump, swim, launch, upswing, left swing, hammer jump, and then a hammer jump here to get up to the save point. Let me do it without debug render. If you fail, normally you can do it again, but if you fall down this far, you have to do it again. It's annoying. There you go. Of course, skip the dialogue. Get the teleporter. Go up to the escape. Now, from here, you don't need to be in a specific position, but I want you to do a hammer launch. A hammer launch aiming here. And then when you go through the ground, you do a double jump and a dash left. And then you hold left until the screen goes black and you wait. Okay, so hammer launch, go underground, jump, dash, hold left until the screen goes black, and then wait. Like this. Screen goes black, and I wait. And there you go. Skip the cutscene. Do the escape, which is very easy with launch. Now here, let me duplicate this because this is very important. Is a relatively precise trick, so don't mess it up. It's very easy to do, but very easy to mess up. Now, there's going to be a cutscene trigger around here. Instead of walking into it, you need to align yourself with these two plants, be sort of at the bottom of these two plants, right here. And then you swing your hammer. And you wait. You don't need to press anything, hold anything. Just wait. Oh, I messed it up, I think. Oh, never mind. I didn't. That was weird. Let's load and try again. I think it's because I loaded from menu in this weird place, but you essentially want to align yourself with these two plants, swing your hammer, alright, let's try from the beginning of the escape. It's probably better if I can show you. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so now you align yourself with these two plants. Swing your hammer. Wait. You can hold left, actually. It's probably better if you hold left. There you go, perfect. You hold the left, and then you go left like this. Dash. Dash, launch, dash. And you land in here. And that's the end of Bower Escape. As you can see, we have the event. Because now we are in Bower's Reach. Don't question it. We have Bower's Escape. What we did was we finished the water escape. And then we gained control, which allowed us to not fall into the cutscene trigger. But we fell down into Bower Escape, which is directly below Water Escape. And then we finished it. And that's it. We got the event. Now we go to Mora. Mora is pretty simple. Just fight her. Same with Quolok. That's what we're gonna do. Fight Mora, fight Quolok. And that's it. So equip, unequip, triple jump, and resilience. Equip overcharge and reckless. Because now we're trying to deal damage. So much cheating. Yep, that's what we do. Equip spear. Use the lantern to give yourself light. Now we have the Mora event. And we go to Quolok. This is so loud. Let me turn these down. Alright, now we watch this cutscene. Start Quolok. You can go under that, but I've been messing it up lately. Right, beat Quolok. Quit out after beating the boss. Skips a pretty long cutscene. I was muted. Thank you. I don't know what muted me, but... You want to touch this cutscene, but you don't want to... So if you use launch to get into this cutscene, you don't want to be on the ground. Otherwise, this happens. Instead, you should do it in the air. As you can see, now we have coup. Now unequip reckless, or sorry, unequip overcharge and equip triple jump. And now we don't need to change our talismans for the rest of the run. That was the last time we changed our talismans. So now, we will use triple jump to do a very nice skip. So walk to here, this will unlock your jumping, and go back. And then you want to do a jump off the wall high enough to reach here. You'll get a feel for it eventually. It's very simple. Dash to here, and you can teleport out. So now that we've lost Ku, we need to go talk to Quolok. Or no, sorry. What am I doing? We need to go do water escape. That's what we need. Talismans? Shards? I've been playing a lot of Elden Ring. So, now we need to do the water escape again, because the first water escape we used to go to Bowers Reach. Now we need to actually do the water escape. But the entrance is closed. Because we already started the escape. There's nothing we can do here. Right? But instead... we're going down here. And we're doing this clip again. I know, your favorite trick. You must be so happy that you get to do it again. But now we don't have to go to the left. Now we go to the right. It's much, much easier. You go here. Up here. Then from here, I do a neutral water dash from the surface. Sorry, not neutral. In an up neutral. So up water dash from the surface and a dash right. And then double jump, dash, and launch up here. You get up here. Then from here, I do a full jump. And then I aim my cursor here. And launch. Messed it up. Aim my cursor here. This thing has been giving me trouble lately. There you go. Now from here, as you can see, I'm in the ground. But if I go right, I'm clipping downwards instead of upwards. So what I do is I go left here out of the water. You can hear the sound of Ori getting out of the water. Then I hold crouch, right, and I swing. There you go. And then I water dash, and that gets me out. Then from here, I do just a regular hammer clip. Doesn't always work. It usually takes me a few tries, but there you go. And now I'm back in the escape. Okay, wanted to check if I accidentally enabled invincibility. So we do the escape again, and this time we just finish. Don't need to do the trick from earlier. Just finish the escape, as you normally would. Alright, so now we have the water escape as an event. Now we're going to talk to Quolok, which will give us the Quolok event, I guess. The voice. Yes, the voice. Voice of the forest. So no longer clipping, no longer doing weird stuff. We're just going. Skip the cutscene. And that gives us the Quolok event. And then all we have left to do is beat Howl and then finish the game. Howl is the first event. And here will be the last. Nice backflip. Wait for poor little Howl. Oh wow, that killed me? Oh, okay. That's a first. Beautiful. I was too close, apparently. I didn't know that was possible. Very interesting. There we go. And then we just... 3 hits, and he's dead. And then we go back to Shriek. Not that I know of, no. Ryan. I've tried and tried, but there's no way that I know of. Okay, so now we're going to do another type of kill on Shriek. This one is called TP kill, or teleport kill. So start the second phase. Die, wait like half a second, open the map. And teleport to this teleporter. Very important. And that's it. That's the end of the run. Just wait and see. It's a really good trick. That's all you need to do. Because now, Shriek is dead. And that's it. That's reverse event order. You still need to do the crawl, but Do I really need to show you the crawl? Do I really need to show you the crawl? I'll show you the crawl. Yes. We don't do the crawl in reverse order, unfortunately. You just hold right. Hold right. And that's time. That's the end of the game. Yep. So, thank you for watching. I appreciate you all. Thank you for wanting to learn this category. If anyone is ever going to watch this. Probably not. And I'll see you next time. Maybe on my stream. Maybe on some other Ori stream. Maybe in the Discord. If you have any questions, hit me up in the Discord. I'm currently the only runner. I would appreciate other runners. I'm currently trying to push for sub 1 hour. And, yeah. I'll catch you later.